Good day everyone, welcome to my Tucker Foley tutorial. Let's get started. First, you're gonna need a wig cap to cover your head. Then you're gonna need blue and green contacts, and then you're gonna take some primer, smear it all over your face and make sure it's even. Then you're gonna take your eyelash comb and make sure you brush down both sides. The way to do this is you take I call it a crayon. You take the crayon and go over your eyebrows so that way it gives them more definition as well as color. My eyebrows are very dark, so this helps us blend in very well. And you make sure that you make them slightly longer than your normal eyebrow length, so that way it makes them more defined and, like I said, more cartoonish. Because a lot of people in Daddy Phantom, they have really blocky eyebrows. I'm going to speed up the next section so that way you can see how the process goes. So then you're gonna basically draw them on, and like I said, they have really big blocks for eyebrows, so you draw as squarish as you can get, and after that you're really good. Like I said, they're really big blocky eyebrows. A little later on I cut them down so that way you could look a little more girly. Then I covered my face in concealer. I don't use many powders as much anymore with my makeup because it never really stayed on with me. I'm not sure why, maybe I'd done it wrong, but I don't know why. Every time I'd done powder, it just never stayed. Like, I could walk out the house and it just wouldn't come on. But basically, you cover, for that particular concealer, I cover all the dark spots on my face. So like around my eyes, around the sides of my face, under my chin, and my forehead. And then you're basically going to just pat it down. And again, I'm going to speed up this section because it does take a little longer to blend it all in. But basically, you just take your finger and pat all over until it blends in with your face nice and even. As even as possible. Then after it's all blended, you're going to use the contour palette. Mine is actually lighter than me, but I feel like it really helps in terms of camera-wise, so that way my cheeks are more defined and you can see all the lines where they're supposed to. I mainly do around my nose and around the sides of my face. So make sure you get in all those crevices, and then you're again going to pat all that stuff down. And since this part takes a little longer to go through, I'm gonna speed it up here as well. But basically, as you saw in the last step, you spread it all over and then pat it down. And then you're basically gonna wait for it to bake. Alright, and now I'm gonna speed up this section just so you can see for yourself. Then after everything is drawn in, you're gonna take both of your eyeliners, and then you're going to basically draw the lines of Tucker's face on your face. So make sure you draw along the top. I started with my liquid eyeliner first, since that usually makes for an easier line job than the pencil one. But basically, you draw at I start from the inside of my eye and go outwards. That way you have an easier line to deal with. I'm not the greatest at doing cat eyes, so I try to just make as straight of a line as possible. And then I'm gonna do it again on the other side. Sometimes you have to do a double dip just to make sure. And again, I'm not the greatest at doing eyes, but I try to keep my hand as steady as I possibly can. You can also find tutorials where you can use, like, I've seen people use tape to keep the line as straight as possible. But I like to trust my hand as much as I can. And then you just fan yourself a little bit just so that the makeup doesn't smear as fast. And then you do the underneath of your eye. That helps, makes your eye pop out a little more if you have darkness between the top and the bottom. It helps with the cameras and making your eyes show up a lot more. Cause like basically the darker it is around your eyes, the more defined your eyes are gonna be. I keep blinking, but it really helps to smear it around so that way I don't miss anything. But that's the point of the pencil, because it helps fill in any lines that I miss. So the pencil section I'm gonna speed up a little just so you can see how I use it to fill in any gaps that I'm missing. Next comes the eyeshadow. I am going to use this dark brown right here, mainly because Tucker doesn't have any makeup on, female Tucker doesn't have any makeup on her eyes, so I'm using this light brown to, again, make my eyelids pop more, so they'll have a little sparkle. And then I'll do the same on the other side. There's not much to eyelids, it's just mainly keeping them looking as even as possible between the two eyes. And then we will go on to the next section. Alright, so now we are going to put on eyelashes, which is always the devil for me. I always have the struggles with it. But we're gonna do it today. We're gonna do this, you guys. So you take your eyelash glue and you put it on the rim of your eyelash, not the pretty part, but the part that's actually gonna go on your eyes. And really make sure that you get the ends of the eyelash, because that's where I have my most problems, is that I never have enough glue on the edges for some reason. So after you put on the glue, you have to wait a minute for it to tack. With my glue, basically it'll turn clear when it dries, but you wait for it to be slightly tacky so that way it sticks to your eye as best as possible. What I do is I blow on it a little, fan it a little, blow it a little, fan a little, and then you stick it on once, like I said, it's dried slightly. You don't want it completely dry because then you won't be able to get it on at all. And like I start from the inside, make sure the inside is nice and downwards, and you head towards the outside. Make sure that it's adhering to your lid line as good as possible. Sometimes my makeup smears, but that's an easy fix. You can always use the liquid eyeliner to fix any problems you have with that. But like I said, you really have to push down, make sure that it's sticking correctly. And then you're gonna do the same on the other side. I always start towards the center of the eye, so start at one end, make sure it's fitting all the way down, and make sure those ends are nice and in. The hardest part of this, I'd say, is making sure both of them are even and staying on. Like, trust me, I've had to do so many retakes of eyelashes because they'd start out great and then all of a sudden they just fall off, and I'm like, why? There's no point to this. But yeah, it looks like my eyelashes are getting on there. And so now we will move on to the next step. Then you're gonna take your mascara and even those eyes out. Make sure your lashes are blended in with your fake lashes. Nice and neat. And then I also do the bottom, even though my bottom lashes you can barely tell I have any. Like I said, it's nice to help define the eyes so they'll really pop in the camera. And then next we're gonna put on some blush. I know my blush is cracked, but it's still useful. And then I just start from one cheek, I go over the nose a little, and to the other cheek. So it gives their nice and rosiness. So cute. And then you're gonna put on your red lipstick. Though Tucker, honestly, you can pretty much go anyway. I've seen people do a purple, I've seen people do a pink. I just did red, because it's really nice and easy, and it's not a super light or super dark red. It's just nice, even blend to make that lip pop nice and easily. Then we are going to put on some highlight. I highlight again where it's most important, which for me it's mainly my forehead and my nose and my upper cheeks. So I start in the center of my forehead and then I do right around my eyes, edges, and again you pat, make sure that blends nice and easy. And then you're gonna do on your nose, so you have a nice nose line that everyone can see. Very nice. And sometimes I do below the lip as well, so that way it looks like you have a nose and it looks like you have a lip. Alright, and then our last step, you guys, is the wig. The best part of the whole thing, because you're basically done with your makeup. So, I know I'm wearing my Sam wig. Shh. That's a surprise. But basically, since, like I said, since I'm doing the Amethyst version, she has the same basic hair as Sam. And then you put on your red cap, slide it on, make sure everything looks nice and neat, hairdo and all. For the bangs, I just tucked them in a little. I didn't really do too much hairstyling. And you make sure your wig fits nice and comfortably. And then you grab those lovely spectacles. And these are my actual glasses that I can see out of. And that is it! You are done! Congrats! You did it! Alright, thanks for the tutorial. I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye!
Baby, oh my Well, it's unfair. Looking like that, make a gentleman stare.
Hey all, this is Kai, just letting you know my version of Tucker is based on Amethyst-Ocean. Please follow her link in the description for me. And I will see you guys around. Bye bye!